Welcome to Broken Bushcraft. I'm Adam, and today we're going to talk about methods of fire, how you create your fire. When I first got into bushcrafting and kind of survival training, it was always thought about, the only way I should make a fire is a bow drill or a friction fire. And as I learned more and I got trained more, I realized that that is my very last resort. So, or it's one of the ones I'm going to go to, when I have no other ones to go to. Now I thought Bics are bad or lighters are bad, but then realizing lighters are good, because if you need to light a fire, you need to light it now. And fire or heat is kind of in that pillar that you need to have to survive for a survival situation. So the first one I'll go over is I'll go over a lighter. This is the Bic lighter you guys have seen me carry. One flick usually, and it lights. I'm not fighting it. I can use this with gloves. Bad thing is about Bics is I can't see how much fluid I have left, but because that safety is really easy to pop off, this is ideal. I can also, if this gets wet and it's not the case, I can, clear that water out of there. So this is my first choice if I have to light a fire. They do have other options out there. This is a view lighter. You can see how much fluid is left in there. It has this weird kind of safety, which is really hard to do with gloves. But of course it's going to do it every time now because I'm doing video. So, this is an option for you if you want to know how much fluid you have left in there. But with gloves on, it's hard to get. If your hands are really cold, I found this is really hard to get. So those are lighters. Now, you also have matches, windproof, waterproof matches. I don't have any windproof, waterproof matches, just because I don't use them. But maybe with the stimmy check, I'll go get some. Good thing about those is you see exactly how many of you have left, so you know when to replace them. But it's one flick and done. So once you light it, that is your, you've already consumed one of those lighters, just like or one of those matches. Just like when you flick a lighter, you've consumed some of that fuel. So these are consumable items that need to be monitored and replaced when they start getting down. So you should check them. They're really pretty inexpensive, so just make sure you're keeping those up. Those should be your primary fire source. So those are lighters, and then matches that don't have. Okay, so with your lighter, you can shave small coils into your wood like such, or get small pencil lead thin size of twigs to light them up. You don't want to hold it for more than about 5 seconds just to get it going. So 1, 2, it's already caught. And there's your lighter, your surefire way to start fire. So this is your primary. And that'll catch on to the rest of this, or if I lay this down in my twig bundle, it'll then build on top of it. Next thing we'll talk about is your ferrocerium rods. The ferrocerium rod, or ferro rod, is made from pyrophoric materials like cerium, iron, magnesium, that are going to react when scraped with a carbon steel scraper, or the back of your carbon steel blade if it is carbon steel, not coated. Make sure if you're going to use the back of your blade, it's a fixed blade knife. You don't want a locking blade to flip up on you while you're doing it. And then now you have a first aid situation going. At the same time, you need to create your fire. So a ferro rod, they come in all different sizes, different lengths, different hardness, different softness. What you want to find is one, because you can go on Amazon and find them. Every company has a different hardness of it. So some you have to push down really hard into it, and some you can barely scrape it and it's going to throw a lot of sparks. The sparks burn about 8,000 degrees. So remember, if you are using these and you are throwing sparks, you are making sure you're being responsible for where your body is, and who's around you. So you want to make sure that you're not throwing it on to somebody else. Also, you want to make sure you're trying to controlling it and throwing it in your controlled areas to clear out wherever you're going to throw the sparks onto, so you're not creating a massive bush fire when all you need is a small little fire. They said they come in different sizes. This is a Wazoo clip. I'm going to make a range bracelet here in a little bit. And it has the ferro rod right there. You see that? Right there in between the clip and the little striker right here. So, and that'll give you a little spark. You can carry that in your pocket, make a bracelet with it, so it's another redundancy for your fire. So that's your ferro rods. I have my ferrocerium rod, my striker, I got my material here. Open it up a little bit, and it's gonna pull back on. Oops. And then let it climb up. And there's your fire. Next, we're going to go over magnesium fire starter. Similar to a ferro rod, it does have a small ferro rod on the edge of it, but the magnesium is right here and will be scraped away into a pile and put onto your bird's nest, and then you strike it, and then it'll burn, quickly and hot, igniting that bird's nest. So just like with the ferro rod and with magnesium fire starter, they're both waterproof. They're both really windproof. So they're good options for you to have in your fire kit. You should have in your fire kit. Okay, so now I have my magnesium fire starter. I have material here is kind of damp, not too bad. So all somebody can do is you're gonna scrape shavings of this magnesium onto here. Make a pile. Then you're gonna strike on the ferro rod. There you go. Next, you have your magnification lens or your magnifying glass. Now, this needs to be at least 5 power strength. You can buy them at Walmart. This is a Self-Reliance Outdoor small one. It fits in my pocket. It fits in actually this little case and then fits in my pocket. And the nice thing about this, so these that I've already shown you are all consumable. Every time you take try to light a fire with this, you throw sparks, you're taking a layer off. So these are all consumable. This is renewable. As long as there's still a sun, hopefully that stays for a while, you can create a fire. So, and they're small, they're light. You just want to make sure you take care of them. They don't get scratched up. When you have it, you put it in a little case or separate from the other things. But this should probably be in every person's fire kit, at least. So at least 5-time magnification, and then you just harnessing the power of the sun onto your bird's nest or material that you're going to light, and then you have your fire or your ember then to create fire. So that's your magnification glass. Okay, so now we're going to use our magnification lens and just going to try to find where the sun is the most angle of the sun. And all I have to do is hold this here for a minute. You can see, oops. I'll try to get where you guys can see it better. There you go, it's starting to smoke. This works really good on windy days when the wind can aid you in getting oxygen to your tinder bundle. There we go. And there's your fire. Okay, now we have more primitive methods. We're gonna go into our primitive stuff. The first one we're talking about is our flint and our steel, our carbon steel. So with this, all you're simply doing is you're striking your steel onto your flint and then creating a spark. Now you can do this on natural material, but you have to process it very, very fine, and because it's hard to control where the sparks go sometimes, you may just take you longer. So it works best with char cloth, and this is just an Altoids tin with my char cloth in it, or char material. And I think next video we're gonna do is char material, how to make char material. So there it is. You throw a little spark on here, and this will start spreading, and then it'll go. You then transfer that into your bird's nest. Now the sparks from the flint and steel burn at about 800 degrees. So once again, it is something that is hot, so you want to make sure you're careful of your eyes, you're careful of your clothing, material you have on you. And then with anything you're throwing sparks, you want to have a clear area around you so you're not creating a massive problem, a massive bushfire. when all you need is a small fire. Okay, so that's your flint and steel. Okay, now I got my flint and steel. I'm just gonna find a sharp edge right there. I'm gonna take my char cloth, pinch it right there, so when I bring my steel down on it, the spark's gonna come up here. There we go. Now that'll burn. You take that and put that into your bird's nest or your tinder, and then that creates your fire. Okay, so now we got the friction fire. Most popular friction fire is the bow drill. So the bow drill, you're gonna have several components for it. You're gonna have your handhold, which can be a rock. This has a little bevel in it. It spins real easy. A friend of mine gave this to me. This is real nice, and especially with starting friction fires. You got your bow itself, which this is also, a friend of mine gave this to me, so I figured why not demonstrate this for the first time. I'm going to do a on video friction fire. And then I have my nylon rope, 550 cord. This is bank line. You can find this at Walmart, you can find this at Amazon, Self-Reliance Outdoors, wherever. So, if you can get one with a little curve to it, kind of aids in the process, but doesn't need to be too much. And then you're gonna tie both ends and make it loose. You got your drill, which should be about the diameter of your thumb, and your rule of thumb, and about 8 to 10 inches, give or take, depending on how tall you are. You want to have downward pressure onto it. And then you have, there's your hearth board. So I've already burned one out. I've already done a bow drill and recorded it, but I'll do another one here in a minute. So you see there'll be 2 holes there. And then you'll have your board here to catch, can be whatever it is, to catch your ember. And then your ember will be put onto your bird's nest. So that's your friction fire. Okay, so I've already burnt my starting hole. Got the bow drill. Make sure angles are good. Now you're not gonna start fast in this. You're trying to build this powder down here below. So lock your wrist in, lean forward a little bit. You see? Yep. You're just going straight back and forth. Just trying to create a fine powder in there. Now see you've created a dust. Speed yourself up. There's no rush from here, because it's just gonna burn. But there we go. Where are you at? There's your ember. Take this. Place it into your bird's nest. Pinch your bird's nest. There we go. There's your fire. There's your bow drill fire, friction fire, as promised. So those are your methods of fire, from modern to most primitive. If you need a fire, you need it now, always go modern. But we'll go over how to make the bow drill at some point. And remember, if you are using any of these methods, you are doing so responsibly, with adult supervision. Maybe I should go get my wife. I don't know. But you are doing it, and also make sure you find out what burn, if you're in a place that has certain burn codes, You don't want to be lighting fires and then creating a massive issue. So do so responsibly. Clear out your area so you're throwing sparks on dirt. And then if you have a bucket of water or a hose or something around you, to put out fire in case it starts getting out of control. So just make sure you check your local ordinances for burns. And that's it, really. If you liked the video, please click like and share. Tell your friends, and I'll see you in the woods.